Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, and in this video we will discuss about the energy flow in ecosystem. This topic is very important because it will help us to understand more about the fundamental concept of ecology. We will learn about how energy enters an ecosystem, how it transforms, how it transferred among organisms, and also how energy eventually lost. Okay, so if you want to learn more about ecology, you can also subscribe my channel and find more topic related to ecology. Okay, so let's begin with the definition of energy flow. As you can read here, energy flow describes how energy is transferred and transformed within an ecosystem. But how energy transferred and transformed? So it happens through some biological processes like photosynthesis, consumption, and also decomposition. Okay, the photosynthesis process. Energy flow begins with the energy that comes from the sun, or we can also say it as the solar energy. Okay, so the sunlight absorbed by the plant, okay, and the plant use it for photosynthesis process. And after that, the plant will release the chemical energy. So the solar energy transform into other chemical energy. But not only the photosynthesis happens in the ecosystem, the plant is also the main food for herbivore animals, or we can say it primary consumers, okay, such as the mouse. Okay, this mouse it eats plant, but if the plant absorb 100% energy from the plant, okay, the the primary consumer, will not absorb 100% energy from the plant. Okay. The primary consumer will only get like 10% energy from it. But where do the rest energy go? Okay. They will flow. They will transform into other kind of energy because the animals are known as the mobile living things. Okay, so they move, they have activities, and the energy will probably released into the environment as the heat. Okay, it also happens with the secondary consumer. Okay, so besides the photosynthesis and consumption process, there is also a process called the process. This process is mainly happens because of the decomposers, okay, such as fungi. Okay, and also these decomposers, they turn energy that they got from the dead body of animals or plant into other energy. And also it will be helpful and useful, okay, for the plant, because the decomposers also uh, help the soil to get better. Okay, it also affect the quality of the soil. Now we will move to the next slide. Okay, in a different ecosystem, okay, in for example, the marine ecosystem, there will be also energy flows. But the same thing is, it starts with the sunlight. Yeah, okay. Then it will be absorbed by the phytoplankton. Okay. In this process, there is a photosynthesis also. And the phytoplankton will be eaten by zooplankton, and this zooplankton will be eaten by other fish. Okay. In marine ecosystem, there's also some biological processes like respiration, consumption, fossilization, okay, elimination, and so on. And this process will be okay will be only one direction. Okay, the energy flows uh, unidirectionally in ecosystem. It means that the energy that they get from the process cannot be recycled. Okay. Uh, it is very important for us to understand the thermodynamics law, okay, because it is very related with the things that I explained in the previous slide. Okay, if we remember the first law of thermodynamics, it states that energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. Okay, so when we eat when we eat food, okay, the energy from the food is not destroyed. Yeah, the food is destroyed in the body, okay, in our body, inside our body, but the energy is not destroyed. It will be transformed into other matter. And the second law states that every energy transfer increases entropy. It means that some energy is lost as heat and becomes unavailable for biological work. So when we receive energy from other sources, we will not get like 100%. Okay. We only get like 10%, and the rest will be changed, will be transformed into other energy. Okay. Pra, uh, yeah, it will be transformed into heat to the environment. That's why the more people in the planet, okay, on the planet Earth, it will cause the more heat on our planet. And there's also some reactions of the energy. The first one is the endothermic reactions. This reaction, uh, it means that um, the organism will absorb energy from outside and turn it into other energy. So it is yeah, they will absorb energy. In contrast, exothermic reactions, it will release energy. Okay, it will release energy. The example of this process is burning process, respiration, and so on. So yeah, there are two reactions, exothermic and also endothermic. And then in ecosystem, there's also this term, ecosystem productivity. So this is the ability of organism in an ecosystem to capture and store energy. Okay, so the energy, as the human, we store energy, but because we are an active living thing, so we are not that good of storing energy. Okay, the primary productivity is the producers. Okay, like trees, grass, and other plants. And this ecosystem productivity reflects how efficiently energy is converted into biomass. Okay, you can see this process. Yeah. So energy flows every time. Okay. There is no time that energy just stored. Okay, they will there are always reaction. And ecosystem productivity can be divided into primary productivity and also the secondary productivity. The primary productivity is this is related with the autotrophic organisms, okay, the producers, because they convert solar energy into chemical energy. Uh, yeah, beside they are doing the photosynthesis, they also capture and also store a lot of energy inside their body. That's why the primary productivity are usually the ecosystems with a lot of producers. Yeah, the examples are tropical rainforest and also mangrove forest. They stored energy. And also for the secondary productivity, this is the rate at which heterotrophic organisms, um, like the herbivore, convert consume organic matters in the producers, okay, inside the plant. They uh, okay, they will convert it into new chemical energy within their bodies. Okay, so the examples are rabbit and also grasshopper. And in essence, there is something we have to remember. Ecosystem with high productivity often support greater biodiversity. This explains why in the uh, rainforest, okay, there will be more there will be more species or genus because because they have a high productivity. They store a lot of energy. And if we take a look at these trophic levels, okay, at these trophic levels, we can see that the producers are uh, at the best of this pyramid, biomass pyramid. Okay, we see that the number of producers, okay, the number of producers will be the most will be the most population on the planet on the planet Earth, because if there are uh, because they are stored like 100 they are using 100% energy directly from the sun. But when it comes to the primary consumers, the number of energy will be decreased because they can only use like 10% energy from the producers. And also the secondary consumers, they will only use like 1% energy from the primary consumers. It will be happens like regularly to the higher trophic level. Okay, and this process also not process this thing also known as the 10% law. Okay, 10% law of ecology. Okay, so the higher level of trophic, okay, it usually the number of animal will be less than the previous one. Okay, for example, the number of primary consumers are higher than the secondary consumers, and the secondary consumers, the population, the number of animals are more than the tertiary consumers, because every levels, okay, the upper levels of trophic will decrease the number of biomass. And if you don't understand what is trophic levels, this is the position of an organism in a food chain where it obtains energy. Okay. So yeah, this is the illustration. Okay, the other illustration of how energy will be used uh, according to the trophic levels. Okay, so sunlight converted or used by the producer 100%, and producer will be consumed by the herbivore, and the dead producer, the dead plant, will be eaten by the decomposer, and the process will happens naturally. And in our ecosystem, there's not only living things such as animal, okay, such as animal, human, who use uh, who use producers for their energy. Okay, this process is called grazing food chain. But beside grazing food chain, there's also detritus food chain. What is this? I will try to show you these pictures. Okay, this is the normal food chain that often shown in our lesson. Okay, grazing food chain. Everything starts from the sun, and then goes to the plant, to the primary consumers, and so on. But there's also detritus food chain. Okay, this happens. Okay, the main source of this food chain. Okay, the main source of energy is comes from the dead organisms. Okay, from the dead organisms. So yeah, like fungi or other microorganism also uh, having roles on this detritus food chain. Okay, after detritus food chain, there's also parasitic food chain. Okay, we know that parasite they suck they are sucking energy from the host, from other organism like animals, human. Okay, they got it not directly from the sun, but from our body. So food chain represent linear pathways of energy transfer. Even these food chains are different, but every type begins with different energy, but ultimately contributes to ecosystem stability. So grazing food chain, detritus food chain, parasitic food chain, it will help the the ecosystem to reach the balance condition or equilibrium. Uh, and in natural ecosystem, uh, there's food chain, but there's also food web. Okay, food chain, I already explained it before, but for the food web, this is yeah, this is different with the food chain because food webs are interconnected food chains. This explains why there are more direction in this food web compared to the food chain. Okay, so uh, yeah, this usually one direction, but this is multi-direction. Okay, and also food web help increasing ecosystem resilience and stability. So on average, only around 10% of energy is transferred to the next trophic level. Yeah, I already explained the 10% law. Okay, this law limiting food chain length. Okay, that's why every ecosystem is special. Yeah, this is the pyramid of energy. This is still the same with I explained before. So if the producers got 100,000 energy from the sun, primary consumers will only get 10% of it. Secondary consumers will get 10% from 10,000 and so on. Okay, so the apex predator. Okay, usually the numbers, the population of this apex predator will be very low. That's why, as the human, we have to consume more from these trophic levels. Because if we consume from this level or this level, it will disturb the balance of ecosystem. Yeah, because the interference from human will also cause a lot of trouble in ecosystem. And yeah, if we talk about uh, energy flow, it's also important for us to know about this thing, biogeochemical cycles. Okay, this cycle describe the movement of chemical elements between biotic components like air, water, soil, and biotic components, organism. Okay, ensuring nutrient availability in ecosystem. So these cycles, this is keep the nutrient available in our environment. Okay, yeah, actually, there all the chemical they have their own cycle, but the primary cycle in biogeochemical are nitrogen, phosphorus, carbon, and also oxygen, because they are the main gases, okay, the main gases that uh, contained in our atmosphere. Okay, so I will explain about this maybe in the different videos later. Okay, so in conclusion, energy flow is a key concept for understanding ecosystem structure and also function. And by understanding this energy flow, how energy moves through ecosystem, it will help us to understand about the ecological or ecosystem balance. So yeah, it will also help people to make a good decision about environmental management. Okay, so thank you. I hope you understand what I explained. I'm sorry if there is still something unclear. Feel free to write comment if you have any question. Thank you.